I'm just going to start talking because I want to say it without getting too befuddled with my own thinking. So I was thinking about something today because I was at the bank, and it was really cool. It was a synchronicity where I was just somehow talking about music, and so one thing led to another, and me bringing up my music led to somebody telling me that their sister owns not really a medical practice, but a place where she does energy healing. And she gave me the address and the lady's name and whatever. And so, I mean, that was really awesome. And then I was like, well, yeah, actually, what's really weird is I'm really into that stuff. I'm like, I have, chakra stones and crystals and all that stuff and da-da-da-da. And then she was saying, have you ever heard about I can't know how to pronounce it, something P-in, but a chopra or something like that. And I'm like, I've heard of them. I'm not really sure who they are, though, honestly. And then, naming off other, gurus or spiritual people that are out there in public eye. And I'm thinking to myself, I may not have heard of or know anything that these people say. And that was really awesome about the whole, somehow she must have sensed that I was into that. I don't know, nobody has ever brought anything like that up to me. So it was really cool, and I thought sort of coincidental. But then she was naming off all those people, and I'm thinking to myself, I may not be Tom Bilyeu, but he's awesome too. He's motivational, and I may not be, a millionaire like Russell Branson or billionaire, whatever they are. I don't really care how much money people have, but I may not be a Gary P or whatever these people's names are. I can't think of his name now for some reason. I've seen it tons of times, but like I said, I don't want to think too much. But I'm not these motivational speakers or these enlightened gurus like Swami G or anything like that. But at the same time, I think that makes people think that I'm less credible because I don't have a way to put it into words, or I'm not as presented as those people. But when these kind of crazy things or major, amazing spiritual happenings do occur with somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm automatically a award-winning novelist or a prize-winning public speaker or anything like that. It's one of those things where I've always been a performer, but I've always talked about my certain, struggle. But now I don't even think there's a struggle anymore. I mean, when I embrace being Dan, sometimes I may feel like I'm struggling, but that's very rare these days. I understand that I'm just surviving and progressing. That's all I'm doing constantly. But I think it makes me feel less credible when people ask me about all these different gurus and all these different speakers and all these different things. And it's like, I want to be like, I'm not them, but I know more than them. And I'm not saying that I'm greater than them, but I mean, I don't know what I've heard any of them talk about. Even the people that talk about spirituality and say you got to do these certain practices in order to get these things, maybe you do they can help you, but I didn't do any of those practices to get to what happened to me. So I mean, I just was doing meditation and trying to do self-hypnosis for success. So it's not like I was doing any of those spiritual things. So that can't be true, that you have to do that to get there, because I did it without it. That's proof. So what I'm saying is, all those people that are saying those things, like the gurus and the whatever, I've heard what they've had to say, but because I reached my spot without what they're saying, I realize that I don't need that either. But I'm trying to find a way where I can tap into that vibration more strongly on a regular intervals on purpose, by choice, and it's like some of them that they say are so great don't work for me, and some of them say that that nobody's even heard of, or what I do. I do my own things. I made up my own things that work. But all I'm saying is, just because I don't have the way to present it doesn't mean that I couldn't, in a spiritual sense, have experienced much more or just as much. Because, just because the main man said there's all these different McDonald's franchises throughout the world, just because the whoever it is that's the highest of the ladder of the McDonald's Corporation, just because they are the highest on the ladder doesn't mean that they even know how to run the drive-through very well or know how to use the cash register. So what I'm saying is, I feel like I'm the chosen one, but that doesn't mean that I know all the history and the stories and the words that people say about stuff. Because once again, no matter what anybody's saying, no matter what language it's in, no matter how deep and interesting it is according to our human factual stuff, you know, like how much money they have or how much knowledge they know about any certain topic, that's just a topic that we call it that. And those are the things we've studied and learned about that. But everything that we've studied and learned about everything is just our perception of it. Each individual person has their own factual things about things. So I'm just saying that I don't want to be looked at like I don't know what I'm talking about, because I do. I'm totally in tune with what I'm talking about. It's all my life is. It's all it's been for 5 months. And I'm not saying that that's not all. It's 5 months is a blink of an eye. But I haven't had a day that has gone by where I haven't felt like a divine being instead of just a human. Like, I just don't feel human anymore. And I have never really felt just human. I've always felt different. And I mean, everybody's this, so everyone should feel this way, but at the same time they don't, because they've brought themselves down to such a different vibration where they feel just like they're just being human. That's all. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I feel like I'm less looked at as less credible, because I don't talk a good game, and it's not about saying things that everybody wants to hear, because that's the problem, is trying to present it in a way where everyone will be like, oh, that's good, that's awesome. Like, people are going to disagree with some of the things they're saying and be like, that's bullshit. Like, and that's fine, because they're not there and ready to do it yet. All I ask is that people try it out, listen to it. You know, I mean, instead of listening to your religion, why don't you listen to someone else's religion? Why don't you listen to some other story? Because yours is right? No. I'm just telling you, it's not. But at the same time, it is in its own way. Reality is whatever you want reality to be. That's the horrible thing. But at the same time, within this realm of reality, in a physical reality, there are things that just aren't reality. Like you say, you can tell a lie and say this person was floating in the air on the physical, like this guy was flying around right here in the real world. No, he wasn't. But you could have pictured it. Yeah, you could have imagined it in your mind, and I couldn't say that you didn't see them flying. You know what I mean? I can't say that, because that's as unbelievable as something could be to me. No one can say what has actually happened in your mind or has happened to you. Nobody can say that. So that's a problem that people have. Anyway, my phone battery is about to die, so I must stop recording. Later.